Indiana Fever and Atlanta Dream played. Indiana Fever is where Caitlin Clark plays. Atlanta Dream is where Brittney Griner plays. Now you tell me what it looks like Brittney Griner is saying here.
Former NC double as swimmer Riley Gaines has unapologetically entered the national conversation, challenging Brittney Griner and demanding accountability as the WNBA faces intensifying criticism. Fans across the country are outraged by the league's silence following Griner's controversial remarks about Caitlin Clark, and Gaines is making it clear she won't stay silent.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner.
During the Indiana Fever's tight 81-76 win over the Atlanta Dream on May 23, 2025, tensions flared as Brittney Griner fouled out of the game, visibly frustrated as she exited the court. Sharp-eyed viewers and lip readers on social media quickly pointed out what appeared to be a heated exchange, claiming Griner directed inflammatory remarks at Caitlin Clark, allegedly calling her trash along with other expletives.
A little bit of context. This was in the fourth quarter after Brittney Griner fouled out against Caitlin Clark, and Indiana Fever would go on to win by 5. Now I'm going to tell you what I think she said. Let's play it back. Looks to me like she is saying trash and then calling Caitlin Clark a please.
Caitlin Clark has revolutionized WNBA viewership, emerging as the league's most valuable draw and attracting audiences at unprecedented levels. Her impact on the league's commercial success is undeniable. Yet, despite her status as a transformative figure, the WNBA's silence in moments where protection and support are warranted speaks volumes.
There were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year. Wow. Outstanding.
As the WNBA maintained a telling silence, Riley Gaines stepped forward as a steady voice in the chaos, offering the clarity many fans were seeking. The former NC double as swimmer and outspoken social activist didn't shy away from the controversy, posting the viral video to her social media with a pointed caption that struck a national chord. A stark reminder, she said, that this is who was exchanged for the so-called Merchant of Death.
Joe Biden traded for the Russian Merchant of Death. So many WNBA players hate Caitlin Clark so much when she is the best thing that could have happened to the league. And she's not the best thing that happened to the league because she's white. It's because she's a good player. It's because she's...
Gaines' bold stance struck a chord with fans who had long awaited a credible voice to confront what they had witnessed firsthand. By invoking Griner's prisoner exchange, she underscored the uncomfortable reality that the United States traded a convicted arms dealer, infamously labeled the Merchant of Death, for someone who would later reportedly direct insensitive remarks at one of America's most beloved young basketball stars.
Decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was jailed. And then Joe Biden made a trade for the Merchant of Death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he...
If you're enjoying this, be sure to subscribe for more. What made Gaines' intervention so impactful was her courage to voice what mainstream sports media wouldn't dare acknowledge. While major outlets either sidestepped the controversy or offered tepid defenses of Griner's behavior, Gaines delivered the unfiltered perspective fans have been waiting for. She called out the glaring double standard. Had a white player made similar remarks for a black athlete, their career would likely have ended overnight. Yet Griner faced no consequences and continued playing as if nothing happened.
Imagine if Caitlin Clark said the inverse of this. It would be reprehensible, condemned, and understandably so. You've got all of these individual players. You have sports commentators, people like Ryan Clark, who constantly tout of the racial tensions that exist in the league, when in reality, they are the ones perpetuating and amplifying these racial tensions with their anti-white hatred for Caitlin.
With a background rooted in elite athletic competition, former NC double swimmer Riley Gaines brought a unique level of credibility to discussions about fairness in women's sports. Having previously taken a national stand against the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's events, Gaines had already proven herself unafraid to voice unpopular opinions when principal was online. Her critique of Griner marked yet another moment where she chose conviction over convenience, refusing to stay silent in the face of what she saw as blatant injustice, regardless of the inevitable backlash from progressive sports media.
Excuse me, good to hear from you. Talking to Jamil Hill. Grifting, LOL. I didn't ask for the platform I have. I simply said men and women's sports is wrong, which you, as a self-proclaimed women's sports enthusiast, have yet to do. So I asked directly, do men belong in women's sports? Silence is an answer, by the way.
Despite viral footage and public outcry, the WNBA has stayed silent on the Griner controversy. Critics say this selective enforcement of league standards reveals a clear double standard. The league's much-publicized "No Space for Hate" campaign now seems selectively applied. Outkick reached out to both the WNBA and Griner's camp for comment. Neither responded. Their silence only fuels suspicion that a full explanation would further harm Griner's image.
What Griner says, there is one way to find out. Ask Brittney Griner. However, no one has done that except for Outkick. It's been over 2 weeks since Griner said this. Instead, the WNBA was investigating a bogus race hoax made up by Angel Reese about Indiana Fever fans. And I say bogus because they found no evidence that supports Angel Reese's claims. So we at Outkick applied for media credentials to cover Brittney Griner's team, the Atlanta Dreams, game on June 6th, to which, shocker, they denied us. We've never had trouble getting media credentials with any professional sports league in the past, but wouldn't you know, now they suddenly have very limited space, which is total baloney. They just want to suppress any sort of uncomfortable.
The WNBA's double standard is hard to ignore. Reporters have had chances to question Griner, but none have. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark missed her 5th straight game, officially due to injury, but the timing raises questions. She sat out a matchup against Griner, who faced no consequences for her alleged slur. The league's silence sends a troubling message about who gets protected and who doesn't.
And to Griner's, quote, management team several times, but hasn't received a single response. Still, Griner has participated in multiple games. Now remember, this is a league that says we have a zero tolerance policy against hate words, words of hate, racism, sexism, any kind of ism. But yet nothing on Brittney Griner? Whoa, she's played in multiple games. The media has had plenty of access to ask her a question, yet not a single one does. Danny Z and Outkick requested a media credential for the Atlanta Dream game in LA against the Sparks May 27th. The Sparks denied our request. Okay. Outkick requested a media credential from that vaunted Atlanta Dream against the Connecticut Sun game on a Friday night. Tonight, actually. They denied the request.
That happened, or you were just...
No, definitely early in the game, but I couldn't tell you the exact play something occurred on, and could have occurred over the course of the game too. And then obviously adrenaline covers up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle. And after the game, I had some pain, and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see. But those type of things don't lie. So yeah.